You go.
We drove up towards the lawn.
When you say you drove up to the front lawn, States 49, can you show us in States 49 where you drove up?
Right to the right of the red bush.
This bush?
That bush, yeah.
You stopped here? And when you stopped there, what happened when you stopped there?
Tyler and Lito got out.
And where did they go?
They started walking towards the crowd of people that was on the lawn.
And when they did that, what did you do?
I was at my window down and I was kind of watching them, just making sure they were okay.
And did you stay in that area?
I stayed right parallel to them the whole time.
Did you move the car up a little bit?
I crept up as they walked up.
And when you walked up, were you able to observe the interaction between Tyler and the defendant and the group from 43 Laurel Glen?
It was dark out, but I could see what was going on.
Now, prior to getting there, were you ever under the impression that were you told to leave and get out of here? Do you recall that?
I can't recall that.
Okay. Now, when you when Tyler and the defendant get out of the car and they're on the property here, they're on the property. What kinds of things was there any verbal interaction between the defendant and Tyler and the people from 43 Laurel Glen?
Yeah, they were conversing, but it didn't sound aggressive at first.
Show you States 4. Do you recall where your car was in States 4 when you noticed that they were conversing?
Like a little bit in between the bushes, maybe.
Would it be over here somewhere?
Yeah, middle of the street.
Middle of the street? Were there cars parked on the side of the street?
Yeah.
So you couldn't be near the curb, per se?
Well, I was kind of in the middle of the street just watching.
Okay. And you were in the driver's seat, car was on, you were looking over your shoulder?
Yeah.
Through the window?
The
Window was up?
It was down. It was down.
It was down? And you said that you heard talking back and forth?
Yeah.
It was normal at first? And how long would you say it was normal for?
10, 20 seconds.
And then at some point in time, did it escalate?
It did.
And can you tell us about that?
Someone came out from the crowd and punched Lito in the face.
And when that happened, what did you observe?
Just all out chaos at that point.
Did you observe where the defendant was after he got punched? Did you observe where Tyler was after that happened? At some point in time, do you stay in that area right as the fight's going on?
The whole time.
And at some point during the fight, does anybody come back to your car?
Yeah, initially.
And when he comes back to your car, does he get in the car?
No. I think he opened the door.
Okay.
He came up to the door.
And after he opened the door, what, if anything, did you observe him do next?
He just went back.
And when he went back, at some point in time, how long did he, from the time he left your car to go back, did he come back to the car at some point?
He came back, went back, and then came back. Oh, yes.
How long did that take, do you think?
10, 15 seconds.
Did you see where he went when he left your car the first time, or the second time, I should say? You didn't see him if he went back into the fight? You just...
I think he went back into the fight. That's where we're at that.
And did you see him engage anybody in the fight at that point? At some point in time, does the fight end? Or
I think Lito got back in the car.
First?
He got back in first.
And where did he get in the car?
He got in the passenger seat.
The front passenger seat? Okay, and at some point in time, did Tyler come back to the car?
He came in after Lito. Lito got in the passenger seat and first, and he was like all distraught and said something along the lines of like, I think I just stabbed like 4 people or something like that, holding the knife.
He said he stabbed 4 people? He was holding the knife?
Yeah.
And how soon after he said that did Tyler De Silva get in the car?
Maybe 10 seconds after. I kind of crept up a little bit more.
So you started to move and then Tyler jumped in? Where did he jump in?
Passenger seat.
Was it on the passenger side or the driver's side?
Passenger side.
And when he got in the car, what did you do next?
I took off down the street towards Adams.
Okay. So if we're looking at States 1, took off towards Adams. When you got to Adams, so this way, just for the record, motioning from the left of the exhibit to the right towards Adams, right? And when you got to Adams, where did you go?
We took a left.
So you went down here?
You did.
And you hit the cul-de-sac?
You did.
What happened when you hit the cul-de-sac?
So as I was making, going around the cul-de-sac, Lito told me to stop the car.
He told you to stop the car?
Yeah.
Do you recall where you stopped the car? You want to point it out? Right there. And so, did you park on the side of the cul-de-sac there?
Yeah.
And when you stopped the car, what, if anything, happened when you stopped the car?
Lito got on the passenger and threw the knife.
You saw him throw the knife?
I did.
Where did he throw the knife?
Directly into the woods area that was right there.
Show you State's Exhibit 45, the cul-de-sac, Adams Road. You call that?
Yeah, I do.
And does this look like State's 46? Does this look like the wooded area where the knife was tossed?
Yes.
And after he threw the knife in the woods, what happened after that? Did he get back in the car?
He did.
And when he got back in the car, what, if anything, did he say?
I don't recall him saying anything when he got back.
So you got back in the car, and what did you do?
Took off and took it right back on the street, which is where I believe people were getting their rides.
So you drove back down Laurel Glen? So you came back on States 1, you came back down this way? Took a right on Laurel Glen, drove to go past the house again?
Yep.
And you met people down here?
Yep.
People that were originally in your car?
Yep.
And when you got down to that end of the street, what, if anything, happened when you got there?
Let's hit the pause button on this testimony and bring in our guest for this hour, National Trial Attorney Cannon Kearney. Cannon, what a witness this is for the prosecution. We've been hearing, and this jury's been hearing about these two camps. The camp of kids who were coming after the defendant and the defendant and his friends who we may hear were trying to defend themselves. And here we have one of his friends on the stand. What do you think about the impact of a witness like this who took a plea deal?
So, good morning, Julia. Based on what I'm seeing, I feel as if this witness has helped his friend some, and he's been truthful. Essentially, the defendant is being charged for murder, but the witness himself indicated at one point he was so nervous that he pulled the knife out when he got out of the car. So that would show that it was reasonable for the defendant to seek a way to defend himself. The witness also testified that they weren't there in a vacuum. There were other friends from Shelton High School, the public high school in the area, that came to go to this Catholic high school party. So that means that he could have been defending others. So I believe that the testimony has in itself assisted the defendant, but there's been some things that have hurt him as well. He indicated that the defendant threw the knife. Well, that can show a level of guilt or that he thought that he did something that was wrong. So he has both helped and hurt the defendant, but I believe overall with him testifying that he pulled the knife out at one point as well because he felt for his safety that would be enough for a juror to be able to say that it was reasonable for the defendant to have the knife or to protect himself or to protect his other Shelton High School friends.
Oh, those are some good points, especially you mentioned that he's telling the truth. Whether we know for sure or not, that's the standard for him being a prosecution witness. He doesn't have to get on the stand and say everything that's going to help their case. He just has to tell the truth in exchange for the plea deal that he received. Cannon Kearney, stand by. We're going to get to our break. When we come back, more testimony out of that Connecticut courtroom. We know that cross-examination is going to be coming up. How is the attorney for Raul Valle going to handle his friend on the stand? Stay with us.
I didn't even realize I was hurt or anything. And then my buddy, Ty Wood, came up to me and was like, are you okay? Like, you're bleeding. And he pointed down at my side, and I had bled through all my clothing.
Can a defendant overcome that kind of gruesome testimony? That witness that you just heard was Ryan Hines. He was on the stand yesterday and the day before. He was one of the stabbing victims who testified basically about being in shock over all of this. This is in Connecticut, this trial that we're watching, the prep school party murder trial, and the defendant is Raul Valle. He's 20 years old now. He was 16 years old at the time of this incident, and he's facing a murder charge for a fight that happened between these high schools that were rivals. 4 teens in total were hurt in this. James McGrath, who was just 17, he died from his injuries. Let's go back in. Jack Snyder is a friend of the defendant. He was in the vehicle with the defendant, and he testified that he handed him the knife that prosecutors say is the murder weapon. He's testifying under an immunity agreement with the prosecution, meaning in exchange for his testimony, he received a deal. Let's pick it up right where we left off.
Got Lito off. I think that's where he was getting picked up.
Do you know who he was getting picked up by?
I think Mackenzie's sister was coming to pick her and pick him up.
And when he, so he got out of the car at that point? And when he got out of the car, what happened when he got out of the car?
Tyler got in the front passenger. Then he took off towards Tyler's house.
And when you took off, did you know how to get home from where you were?
I used Google Maps to get to Tyler's.
And you drove down to Tyler's house? And when you got to Tyler's house, did you have, what happened when you got to Tyler's house?
We met Owen De Silva, Tyler's cousin. He was outside.
And were you talking with Owen De Silva? Did you tell him what happened? Did you and Tyler De Silva, not what you guys said, but did you have a conversation with Tyler on the way from Laurel Glen to Milford when you talked to Owen De Silva?
Good.
And what kinds of things were you saying to Tyler De Silva?
I kind of told him that Lito said something like, "Oh my God, I think I stabbed people" or something. We were talking about his injuries because Tyler was all bloodied up and in bad condition.
How did Lito appear? Did you get a good look at Lito?
He was also pretty bloodied up. They were both kind of beat up.
Yeah. And did you say anything else when you were talking, when you were going to Milford?
The conversation was kind of along the lines of like, how are we going to get back at these people? Because at the time we had no idea the severity of the situation. Like when Lito said like I stabbed people, I'm thinking like he's on the ground and maybe hit someone in the leg or something and got out of it and got back in my car. So it was kind of like the tension was kind of still there. And in the group chat, kids were still texting in the group chat. So it was kind of just still kind of aggressive between the groups. So we were just kind of talking about like how are we going to get back at these guys.
And you didn't understand the severity of it?
I just thought we was going to jump or something and we were going home.
And did you text anything in the group chat after the incident, 43 Local?
I did.
What did you text?
I guess said something along the lines of like, enjoy the hospital visit or something.
And at some point in time, you talked to Owen De Silva. Do you stay in Milford that night, or do you leave?
I go home.
You go to home, and home back to Norwalk. And when you go back to Norwalk, when you get home, do you have any conversation with anybody when you get home?
Yeah, my father.
And did you tell your father what had happened?
I did.
And not what he said to you, but what was his appearance to you when you told him what had happened?
He kind of looked shocked and kind of gave me the impression that this was going to be something more serious than I kind of thought it was.
At some point in time, did you have another conversation with another family member?
I did.
Who did you have a conversation with?
My cousin.
And who's your cousin?
Mike Mario.
And you talked about what had happened at 43 Laurel Glen?
I did.
And at some point in time, were you contacted by the Shelton Police Department in any way? Was it, how close in time was it from the time of the incident to the time Shelton Police Department contacted you?
I think it was that morning.
And did you talk to the police at that point in time?
My father picked the phone up and just told me that we were hiring an attorney.
So you hired a lawyer at that point? And again, that was May 15th of 2022?
I believe so.
And at some point in time, do you recall in consulting with your lawyer and your father or your parents, do you recall wanting to meet with the state's attorney's office with regards, or the Shelton Police Department and the state's attorney's office with regards to this incident.
Yep.
And is that when your lawyer approached state's attorney's office to give us potential information about this case? In particular, where the knife was discarded? And is the first time that you spoke to law enforcement regarding this case, was that on November 2nd of 2022?
I believe so.
And did you give a subsequent interview with law enforcement to clarify anything that may have been misunderstood?
I did.
May have a moment, Your Honor.